Hey everyone, it's Manuel here, and today we're going to be trying a bit of a different format. This will be a follow-up interview with Fotoluz Jose from the previous video. I wanted to give a bit more background information with him and not cut it down for the sake of keeping it under 15 minutes for YouTube. So a bit of an introduction on him. He's worked with 35 millimeter magazine, educated at Cal Arts, shooting for 29 years, and specializes in portraiture using expired film. You can follow Jose at Instagram at positive_negative_film. Joining me now is Jose.
Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me, Manny.
Yeah, no problem. Dun 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 dun.
There you go. Yeah, we're still in that one, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? For us, because
I will include that.
we're gonna have ranchera.
What's it?
We're gonna have rancheras on that. Yeah. And thank you for coming to our podcast.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. So, Jose, do you want to introduce yourself to the two people?
My name's Jose, and I go by Fotoluz 12, and I'm a film photographer for 20 plus years. I mainly shoot portraiture and some fashion and a little bit of editorial. And I use a lot of expired film and Polaroids.
What year did you say you started shooting film?
Yeah, 1991.
1991. So, okay. So almost 29 years.
Yeah,
almost just 29 years. Yeah.
20 plus years. Yeah, I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I was in high school. Started out darkroom first. And once I learned how to do prints, how to master the darkroom, I wanted to learn how to shoot, how to create the picture. So I started going to, workshops. And after that, I ended up going to Cal Arts for a couple of years. And that's where I started learning how to, black and white process, color process, prints, color prints, E6, alternative process. Got into doing a lot of large formats. I was starting to get into studio more. And then there was a point where the pixels started coming in and started taking over. A lot of people were dumping a lot of cameras by that time, and everybody was just so infatuated with with the digital era, and and at that point I stopped. I stopped taking pictures, and I kind of went hiatus for quite a while, and I think back in 2011, 2012 is when I started coming back to taking pictures, and I started out digital, and I thought, well, I guess digital is the way, and so I bought a digital camera, and because I wanted to take pictures. By that time, my daughter was about 2, 3 years old, and I wanted to take more pictures of her, and it just wasn't really cutting out for me. So I ended up with a Nikon D200 and a Nikon D2X, which are digital cameras, and said, okay, I'm gonna start shooting, a little bit more professional. And it's just not. I just didn't like the way it. Yeah, you manipulate it. Yeah, you can make it look better and all that, but it just didn't feel the same like how it was when it was filmed. And so I went back to film. I started just creeping back, and started remembering how to, shoot again, getting that confidence back, and reading all my old notes, and boom, next thing I see, forget digital. I'm all 100% film now. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I shoot digital if I get hired for like a small wedding, portraits, something they want quick, I'll do it. But if I get hired, majority of the time I get hired for film, and they're like, oh no, I want film, I don't want digital. Or I get hybrid, so I'll do hybrid as well. So, and a lot of people are really digging the whole analog. So which is the cool part.
Yeah. I've seen shoot. When did you realize that you started preferring portraiture as a genre of photography opposed to, street like I've seen on other people?
Um, Portraiture to me was, seeing the actual person the way they are, and portraiture is you create beauty with that, because I am a firm believer that beauty, everybody's beautiful. I don't know who in the hell came up with the word the ugly, because I think that it was made up. There's no such thing as that at all in this world, period. Whoever came up with it must have been an evil person, or I don't know what the hell, but there is no ugly person in this world, because everybody has somebody for someone. And you see it in people. Just because that person looks odd doesn't mean that person's ugly. You know, there's oddities, yeah, but there's something beautiful about that person, and that's the reason why portraiture for me, I'm able to see that and able to place myself in I guess, in a world where I can really see that person, and the whole key is to get a little bit of that trust in that person, and once you get it, you'll really see them for truly for who they are, and that's where you want to capture it. And that's why I kept just keep pushing and doing portraiture a lot. And of course, I started dabbling more into like a little bit of fashion here and there. So those are mainly my two things: is portraiture and some fashion type photography.
So, do you pick the wardrobe before the model, or the model and then the wardrobe?
It's funny. I actually get inspired more on when I see wardrobe. I actually put everything together in my head, and of course, Pinterest is one of the biggest key elements for helping me get inspired in a shoot. And I see these things, and I say, hey, like I said, I have a go-to model, and I just text her and I say, hey, do you have this? And she'll say, yeah, I have this. Okay, let's set up a day, and she'll have a couple of hours, and and then we'll shoot, and whatever she's able to replicate or somewhat close to that along the lines, I'm able to capture what I saw on on Pinterest. But yeah, I pretty much pick everything. I don't think that by the model bringing her own clothes and like, well, let's see what you got.
Yeah,
that's it's challenging, and it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm up to anything. I'm not gonna be negative about like, oh, you know what, it's a waste of time. And no, challenge yourself, keep pushing, no matter what. Whatever brings it in, take it as a grain of salt. But majority of the time, I pretty much vision of what I'm looking for, and I let them know, hey, this is what I'm looking at. And they're like, oh, okay, let me work on the wardrobe, and they'll work on it. And if I need makeup artists, I have my makeup artists. And if I need studio, I got a great place to go and shoot too that's affordable. And or outside elements works well as well. So
yeah, sounds like you have a lot of community relationships, or good standing ones.
Not so much. There's guys that do. Maybe I guess I got to be clear more. I'm not too social.
Yeah.
Social distancing is like an everyday practice for me. Those that know me, they know me very well. They're like, yeah, dude, that guy never comes around. He doesn't really say much. He doesn't really call, but that he's there, he's there. They know the work. They know me. They, when they want to include me in projects, they know that I'm, 100% committed. But I don't mingle. You don't see me a whole lot out of you, especially you. You don't really see me a whole lot.
Well, it was like we've been talking about that team shootout for what, 3 years now?
Quite a while. I mean, the last time you saw me is that we went to Bombay Beach.
One of the meetups. Yeah, I wasn't even taking pictures at that meetup. I was just shooting the shit with everyone.
Oh, yeah. And of course, that's right, that meetup, and I showed up, but I didn't bring no camera.
Yeah, I know. I remember you asking me like, "Oh, I'm not interrupting your photo." Like, no, dude. There's like nothing here. It's a park.
Yeah, I know, but I do like to go and see what's going on. I do like to go sometimes just to see what's people's, itching about. And, and yeah, sometimes I do want to go and meet, like just to meet, like maybe some of the talent out there. And of course, yeah, I run into other photographers here and there, but the whole meetup thing, to me, it's not for me.
Yeah.
I'm not talking down on it or I think it's a bad thing. No, because it's an outlet for others to learn, and those who are starting out, I think it's a great platform, so they can, feel a little bit more confidence seeing other colleagues out there like they're learning as well, and build that and boost that confidence level, But it's not for me, and you understand why.
No, yeah, I understand why. I mean,
So, and I'm very such. I I keep things to myself. So what I do now is I have this it's like a little bag that I'm able to fit my light meter, my pack of 120s, and I have this foldable camera that is it's a size icon, super icon. It's a bellows camera that shoots 120, and it fits in that bag. So. And I have a little book with a pencil in it, and of course some film, color, and black and white. And I drag it with me at work, and if I see something, I shoot a frame. And I write down what I shot, what's your, my settings and location, and so that's what I do now. Even though sometimes it'll take a week just to get one shot, at least I'm, trying to find something that I want to shoot. I'm not a street photographer. If that's the case, it would be really weird for me, like, hey, there's this guy in this van and he wants to take my portraits.
Yeah. No, yeah, I've seen it. But I have noticed that you kind of incorporate it a little bit into your photos, because normally when I see portrait photographers, they're like really safe studio lighting, or it's, golden hour. I'm pretty sure there's other photographers that do it otherwise, but your work on your Instagram, it seems to be like kind of a mix. It's what I would imagine I would try to do if I had a similar model in the similar lighting conditions.
Yeah. Everybody is different because their work is it kind of plateaus, and it's very predictable. I didn't want to be that kind of guy. In regards to social media, I really don't care about it anyways. When I started out, I was up to almost close to 2,000 likes or followers. And I got to the point where I just hated photography.
Yeah.
And so I deleted that account, and
I noticed that was like, what, 2 years ago? 2 years ago, you deleted your Instagram?
Yeah. And I just hated it. I got to a point where I hated it so bad that, it was just tearing me apart. But it had to do with the social media, is what I found out. And I was like, I don't understand. People can like, these guys that just start out and they're pixel shooters, and next thing they're like celebrities. And I'm like, fuck, and here I shot for so many years. And, it's just like, now it's like, I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, I appreciate it. Like, you're one of the people that I have on my like bell notifications, I want to say it is. The alerts that when you post, because it took me like maybe a week to realize, hey, I haven't seen Jose's posts in a while, and then I look and I'm like, oh crap, you deleted.
Oh yeah, and then I had another account which I just basically just took over that account, and I was sharing it with other guys, and I just made it my own and started over again, and and now I'm like 120 posts in, and I got 193 people following me, and so it's not bad, I mean, I like it. I just show what I show. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm not one of the greatest photographers like out there, but I'm active. People like it, they like it. If they don't, it's okay, But at least I'm putting something out there just so they can see a wide range of stuff that I do. I don't like to stick to one thing. Just like I don't stick to one film, I don't stick to one thing in posting. It's just everywhere. This whole oh, you got to do it this way at this time, and always comment. And no, I'm gonna do what I want to do. Period. You
Mm.
know, you like it, you like it. You don't, okay, that's fine. So it is what it is.
Yeah, and so have you ever shot like I've seen you put together wardrobes, envision the shot, pick out the model, choose the location, and sometimes even drive like hours to
Yeah,
get to these spots. Have you ever spent all that time, money, and effort just to have a role not come out?
yeah, it has happened, and
I hear the
I
heart
don't.
in your voice.
You know what? It's just, I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe the age now,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
I don't get upset. I just usually say, "Oh, okay, well, I guess that wasn't meant to be,"
Hmm.
and I just brush it off. I mean, what am I gonna get out of getting, upset and
Yeah.
all that energy and effort into cussing and what the hell and nothing. So I mean, I didn't come out. It didn't come out. I mean, plain and simple. What is it that he can do? Nothing. So it's like, well, it didn't come out, but it would have been nice. But at least I got these three other roles. I'm
Yeah.
cool with that. I can settle with that. So yeah,
Yeah.
I've lost. There's some good, I would say, really good ones that I shot, and I lost them, and I was like, yeah, well,
It
it
happens.
hurts.
Yeah.
It happens, yeah, and it
Yeah.
happens to the best of everybody.
So do you ever buy the film in bulk just to have some predictable expectations for what you're going to get, or is it all just an assortment of various different brands and expirations dates?
Yeah, dude. If you see I mean, I think I sent you a picture of my fridge before,
Hmm.
and it's just a whole array of junk in there, dude. I don't bulk roll because I just like different things,
Hmm.
and I think if I bulk roll, it would just sit there. And
Hmm.
that 100 feet would last me for years, dude. And I rather just like I don't want to see just the roll, and that's all I have. I'm like, no, I my fridge is just completely a diverse fridge of film, dude. All sorts of film. 35, 120, 4x5, now 8x10, and pack film and Polaroids. And dude, I have all this assortment in there. And I'm like, well, what am I going to do today? Today I'm going to shoot 600
Hmm.
Polaroid. And for 35, I'm just going to go film a pan. Or if it's something that a person that I've been wanting to shoot for a long time, oh,
Hmm.
I bring out the goodies. I was like, oh, I'm shooting this, or I'm shooting that. I have
Yeah.
this pack of street candy. I don't know if you
Yeah.
ever heard of that.
I've never heard
And
of it.
street candy is film that back in the day ATMs used to
Hmm.
take pictures of if something happened, they would take a picture.
Hmm.
So it's super contrasty, it's just such a muggy film. And people are just dying over this film, and it's hard to get now. I don't think you even think you can get it anymore. So I have like 5, 6 rows of that stuff, and it's been a year and a half that it's been sitting in my fridge.
Hmm.
And my buddy got it for me for my birthday, and he's like, "Dude, when are you gonna shoot it?" I go, "I don't know. Until I find something, I'll shoot it."
Yeah. Have
I
you
have film that
seen? Oh, go ahead.
I have film that's been sitting there for like at least 3, 4 years, dude.
What's the oldest role you shot?
1981. 1981.
I think I
And it
might
could
have you beat there for once.
19, why?
I think I had a role that was like 1976, I think, and that one actually came
1976?
out really good. Yeah,
Now, what's the oldest role you have?
I think it would be that one because it's literally one of the roles I bought on eBay. It was like just an assortment of film. It was like I don't know when this was expired, but there's a date on it,
Well, and
and
then I got you beat on that one, man.
yeah.
Yeah, the only role that I have that's old is it's like Ectochrome,
Hmm.
made by Kodak. It's 1964,
Oh, okay, all right.
and that
Well,
one's
actually,
like,
speaking of Ektachrome though, how has the colors changed from what you've seen?
I do have the original the E100,
Mm-hmm.
and opposed to the new. Actually, I haven't shot the E1, the new one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting on a roll on that one.
I have a few rolls of that as well. That I actually, you know what? I'd like to have you as soon as this is all over. It'd be cool to see you shoot one roll of that compared to the older Ektachrome, even though it's
Mm.
expired. But
Okay.
also, I have a few rolls of that Rolly Variochrome that
Oh,
was like really hyped up a while back.
I have a roll of that
Uh-huh.
burial, and I haven't shot it yet.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sitting on a brick of it, which is apparently worth a lot now. But
really,
yeah, I don't know if I want to save it for in case things go bad. But
I would. I
yeah,
mean, well, if you have a brick, at least you can. My mentality is like, if I have 10 rolls,
yeah,
I'm gonna shoot two,
yeah,
and then once I shot two, that thing's just gonna sit there for a long time. Like
yeah,
I'm sitting on original Agfa
hmm,
from like the '90s, and
yeah.
that's like always been my favorite film back when I was shooting.
Mhm.
That was like my film
Oh, that
was
was the one that all the UK YouTubers were doing videos about, right? It's like their version of Color Plus or something like that.
yeah, but it was this one was called I think Optima,
Uh huh.
and the black and white is called Ultra.
Hmm.
And now it's APX, that new one that just came out.
Yeah.
Well, there was APX back then. That's the one that I like because the film base is different and
Hmm.
the emotion's different from compared to the one that's out now. Uh, and that's not made by the actual, Agfa people. It's made
It's
by
made
some
by like
uh, it's some other
Criterion Tech.
company. Yeah, it's made by another company that bought up the name Agfa.
Hmm.
So they're the ones making that, and I don't like it. I bought some of it, I didn't like it. So
Yeah, that seems to be
and
happening a lot. Though, there's a lot of even like though I'm not as in the know with the community as you are. It seems like it's happening a lot with companies buying up old names and trying,
yeah,
yeah,
but
remarket.
one company that does very well, and I know that the stuff that they buy
Hmm.
is old stuff, even from like Germany and UK. Lomo
Yeah.
Lomography film is actually the best film there is because it's just film that like old stock. It's what it is,
Hmm.
and that's the only company that I like a lot is that Lomography film, and they had Ferrania for a long time, dude. Colored
Yeah.
Ferrania,
It's funny you bring them
and
up because I've seen a lot of people kind of dismiss them, and I think that's changing this year. But I really like what they've been doing, like in terms of like experimenting with cameras and lenses and
you
just
know what? That's the only
embracing.
thing I kind of hate the photographers of today's time uh, is that they chase things around.
Hmm.
Like all of a sudden somebody's wearing their underwear backward and they think they're cool as shit. So everybody's doing it now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I I hate that shit. You know, it's like
Uh-huh.
fuck. You guys are just treating it like if you guys are a bunch of hipsters.
Hmm.
And that's how you can single people out like that. Um, I see a lot of people shooting digital and adding the actual film. When you scan the whole film
Yeah.
and you hear all the information on the side and the sprockets and all that.
Yeah.
And they do that and they try to mimic film. They're like, I go, that's too clean
Yeah.
for that type of film time. I was like, are you
Also,
sure
I don't
that's
I don't think Ilford ever made a color film.
yeah? And that was a tricky one too, huh?
Yeah.
But
Yes, I've
you
seen
know
that
what?
too.
There's no rules. There's
Yeah.
no rules about that. But I just feel that they're missing out on the actual foundation of
Hmm.
photography, which was, emotion and not pixel.
Yeah. One
And
thing I'm not sure if you would follow this as closely, but one thing that does kind of interest me is that it's funny that there's this whole and this is sorry to get a little political, but it's like there's this whole body positivity thing, but I don't think film photographers have really marketed themselves
no,
towards that genre yet because that is as close to untouched, human beauty as you can get.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right about that. They don't really market themselves that much because it's more of a personal work. opposed to marketing. It's totally different, like commercially. Nobody's gonna do that. You know what I mean? Like I don't really do that myself either. I have to, like I get my closest friends that are photographers, and they give me so much crap, dude. It's not even funny. And they're like, dude, you have so much work and so much talent, and then you hide it. I go, huh? What do you mean? I don't want people to see what I do. I mean, it's just for me, This is my work. I'm doing it for myself, not for people. He goes, yeah, but you need to share it. And I'm like, no. I go, I'll shoot pixels and share that. But, when it comes to a lot of film work, I don't really, eventually I'll leak it out. It's like if I feel like it, so you know what, I'm just gonna put one up
Yeah.
there, see what
Well,
happens.
it's pretty admirable that you do it just for the love of it without trying to get any, social media recognition. That's kind of a breath of fresh air in today's.
Yeah, I kind of like that. But people that know me, they know me. They're like, yeah. He's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. He's a good photographer. Like, well, he doesn't say he is, because he has 450, followers, and well, it's not about the following. It's more of the work. Since when is that a factor now? Back then, in order for you to show work, you had to go somewhere to see it. You had to go to like a studio or a gathering, or like, for example, CalArtsy would go out there and they would have a showing of the students' work. You had to go. If you really wanted to see work, you go, or you buy the books.
Yeah.
And now you can show it on social media and stuff like that.
I remember going to one of those kind of student showcases over in San Diego. It was earlier this year.
Oh, okay.
And their work was actually pretty amazing. There was a lot of black and white stuff that really, motivated me to shoot more black and white. And it's kind of amazing that these, like, they're probably like 16, 17-year-olds are shooting these kinds of images. It gives me a lot of hope for the future generation, especially if they, wander into film, just to imagine the type of potential they'd have to experiment to that degree. And actually, go ahead.
Did you go to that is that Safe Light that you went last time?
No, it was a different place. Safe Light was last year, and I'm kind of upset that my anxiety prevents me from going down there, because I need to pick up a print because I bought one from Tim. But I haven't picked it up, partially because they didn't email me to let me know that the showcase was over, and also because I'm nervous as shit and find any excuse not to go down. So
you don't want to go down there?
No, yeah, that's like I said, that's my thing. I'm nervous of the outside world, and the fact that yesterday we're in a pandemic and it was raining and there was virtually no one on the streets is the only reason I even stepped out of my car.
No.
Yeah, I don't want to get too into. Yeah,
I don't think it's that bad. I mean, you can still go down there, but
it's just me. It's just personally, like, my anxiety.
I see.
From like it's just a personal thing, which is why I kind of forced myself to do it, and I don't regret it now that I went outside. Which is, like, it's another topic, but like I said, I wanted to keep it on you, though I do appreciate it. Yeah, and I know this is going on kind of long, but I'm kind of trying to make sure we cover some bases. So
no worries, it's okay.
I appreciate you sitting. I appreciate you bearing through this, though, because
well, you know what? I one of the things I do enjoy a whole lot is, having a conversation and talking to somebody, and when it comes to photography and stuff like that. I enjoy it a lot. I don't know if you remember, I came out on a podcast last year.
I remember listening to that one. That one was really nice, and I do remember you. Actually, you know what? I'll include a link to that YouTube video you sent me too, because that was actually pretty cool too.
Right on. And
you want to talk a little bit about that, actually?
What, the podcast?
The podcast and the video, what you were doing?
The video, I'm trying to remember, which video did I send you?
It was the one where you were documenting, like, a little bit of street, but it was like portraiture style. You took some pictures of these, like, I think they were uh, I'm blanking on the word, vendors, street vendors.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that one was really, I got pushed.
Mm-hmm.
I I was such a I was a real ass, dude, when it came down to like stuff like that. And my buddy was like, dude, can you do me a favor? And he would tell me like very serious, like he was upset. He
Mm-hmm.
goes, can you drive my ass down to I can get this film and I can show you about this project. I go, dude, don't get me involved in that shit because I don't want a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, just take me because I don't have a car. And I go, all right, I'll take you. So, and that day, my daughter was like, oh, dad, I want to go to the movies with my friends at this time. And I said, we'll be back. Don't worry. And so we drive down to Santa Monica. And what it was the Free Films USA project.
Mm-hmm.
And they were coming in from, I think, Colorado is what, the last stop, or Texas is one of those. So they were in LA for a week. And yeah, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't know about the project. I heard about it, but I didn't know they were going to be here when. And he was, yeah, it's a Free Film USA project. And I said, all right, so let me check this out. And I was talking to one of the guys, and Neil was the guy, the co-founder of that project.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, hey, you're that guy that came out on that podcast. This is a podcast I showed you. He goes, yeah, I was the one before you. And he goes, oh, I listened to it. I think that was great. So, and it was weird because the guy, Scott Keaton, is the guy that films for them, that does the documentary for video.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a cinematographer. And he pretty much is like, hey, I wanted to talk to you. And I go, yeah, what's up, buddy? He goes, I wanted to see if I could document you. And here I'm thinking, out of all the people that came here that LA has to offer film photographer, why'd you pick me? You know, and I asked him that, and he goes,
Mm-hmm.
because I heard your podcast. So I said, okay, cool. So, and of course he started giving me questions and, and recorded me. And I go, it feels weird having that camera in my face, man.
Mm-hmm.
And he started laughing. He goes, you don't like that? I go, no. He goes, just get used to it, okay?
Yeah, you're usually.
I did. Yeah, I had fun though. I had so much fun that day. We went to MacArthur Park,
Mm-hmm.
and he goes, "Why did you bring me here?" And I go, "I brought you here because it reminds me so much of who I am and where my family comes from and who is my people, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and how people struggle and how I see uh, red, white, and blue through my eyes. My interpretation of red, white, and blue is here." So that really interested him. And I go, he's like, I really like this. I make me understand what is it that you see, And I saw this lady, and she's a lady from El Salvador,
Mm-hmm.
and those ladies remind me of of like my mom, and of course people that I grew up, and being that I'm my background Central America, my mom is from Honduras, and my dad's from Guatemala, and no matter what, we're all the same, And she was selling tamales, and I was like, oh, and I go, have you ever tried these tamales? They're so good, dude. He goes, I tried them before, and I go, you know what? I'm gonna go get some money out. I'm gonna get some, but you know, I wanted to do that so I am able to talk to the lady and able to kind of get some pictures, and and document that, and it turned out really well. And I documented that lady, and such a nice lady, dude, and I was able to document other stuff, and I met these to finish the roll off. I finished it off with these veterans in Santa Monica that they were homeless, and I bought them food. Like I bought $20 worth of tacos, and there was like 4 or 5 guys and a
Yeah.
lady there, and I said, "Hey, I brought this for you guys. I know it's not a whole lot, but at least I want you guys to have something hot." And and they were very, very happy and very appreciative, and they just started talking to me about what went on in their lives, just like that.
Yeah.
It just the books very opened up all, and I was just so taken back by what these people endure, and and here we take things for granted, and and yet these people are suffering, and I'm sure maybe some of them are going through some like mental issues or or maybe addiction, or maybe that was their downfall. But nonetheless, just these are people that need help,
Yeah.
and we shouldn't turn the blind eye on that.
Yeah, I remember when I
And
saw that video, I was actually motivated to go out and shoot because that's exactly the type of stuff I like to photograph. And, not to downplay anyone else's style because everyone has their own, favorites, but I never liked taking pictures of just buildings or just people walking down with cigarettes in their hand. But like you said, like documenting kind of real life, like veterans that are homeless and, people just trying to make ends meet, you know.
yes, I mean, mainly that was my biggest thing, is that I would drive up and down, like going towards Wilmington, downtown, all that area, and I see these people, there every single day, and I'm like, well, that's my red, white, and blue, because this is what I see every day. I see the struggle of these people. I
Hmm.
see what they have to go through, not just Latinos, but blacks,
Hmm.
Asians, even white people to go through that. And
Yeah.
that's the true red, white, and blue. True red, white, and blue is not no damn commercial building, or who has the most money, or who's on MTV. Nobody cares about that shit.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
what
but
we
we're
see every
seeing it.
single day.
We're seeing it right now too, because there's all this fight about, bailing out, Wall Street, and nobody's really
Yeah.
talking about all these people that are basically unemployed.
What about the small businesses?
Yeah.
What about them? They're like the vital supporters of their family, and all these people that are part of the essentials, but they got cut out because they're expendable.
Hmm.
It's just not fair. I think it's, just like when you're, wrongfully terminated, it's either unfair or unlawful.
Hmm.
I think it's both. They shouldn't be doing that. The country should have known better. But I feel like the country lost its grasp completely and fast. And
Hmm.
so they prolonged this whole COVID thing, like, well, we're going to send to buy time to get a grasp of the country,
Hmm.
because I felt that it just slipped out of their hands for a little bit,
Yeah.
you
The
know.
sad thing is like, I find it funny they'll always end up going to politics with me, but they've had warnings since I think it was late November that there were talks about something jumping, and even before that, people can find Bill Gates' whole TED talk on, you know,
Yeah, that's
we're at
true.
risk for a pandemic, and we should like apparently Obama, like as he has his problems, but he did plan ahead for this sort of thing, and for the new administration to just basically undercut that because they didn't like that he had his name on it is unfortunate because now we're seeing the effects of that.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of people kind of try to say that this is, you know, just them trying to control us, but it's more of a last ditch effort to control this thing because we don't have any tests available.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
You're right about that.
Yeah.
And I think that should be an eye opener. I think images have a great impact in
Yeah.
telling a story, and that's a way for people to go out there and document everything that they see, you know,
Mhm.
and show people that this is what's really going on and not what people are saying. Because you can say one thing, but
Yeah.
seeing it in real life, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad that I did that project, because it humbled me more and more, because I'm not a documentarist, and I'm
Mhm.
not a street photographer. Even though I did start it out as street photography, but it was just never. I was never a full blown. Like that's all I shoot. I was more intrigued in you know portraiture and fashion and editorials. I was more into that
Yeah.
when I was young, but it just brought out another side of me to interpret what I see and what I felt.
Yeah. It was a
When
nice treat seeing you shoot straight though. Like seeing that you immediately went to that same place instead of just, trying to
yeah,
shoot faces and people in the crowd.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you immediately had a theme, and I think that's kind of one thing that I'm thinking about too right now with the pandemic is because there seems to be a lot of. Well, actually, I think I saw a tweet by some street photographer that was making fun of the idea that there's tons of people right now that are thinking they're going to shoot streets that are just empty, and that's going to be their, their piece of art to contribute to society is them documenting empty streets in Los Angeles or San Diego.
I just don't
Yeah,
see,
yeah. It
a
seems
value in that.
yeah. There's none, and that's why I find to be the struggle when you're trying to come up with a project to talk
Yeah.
about, or even street photography in general. Is what can you really add?
Yeah, exactly.
And
I mean, there's so much that I even thought about that. Maybe I should document this, but then again, I was like, well, there's not really much to document because being that we're so restricted, all we can do is just document your community, and even that yet is still challenging because not a lot of people want to come out, and
yeah,
being empty is like, okay, all I see is an empty street. That could just be any time, you know.
hmm
But maybe I'm sure the only thing that you're able to show is inside the supermarkets and the empty shelves and people in line, and pretty much that's about it.
yeah. What I'd like to
Uh,
see is something about the essential workers.
yes.
Yeah, that would
Now
be.
that's almost like a um, like war journalist, being in the front lines and documenting what they're going through, and
Mhm.
the emotions and the challenges that
Yeah,
they
because
face every day because of that.
I don't think, and this might just be me pessimistic. I hope I'm wrong, but I feel like the value placed on grocery workers, sanitation workers, janitors, EMTs, nurses, any slew of them. I think that's only going to last as long as this does because normally they're really looked down on, and I hate to admit it, but even the people in those communities kind of look down upon each other because
Yeah, that's
the
true.
whole fight for 15 thing happening with the fast food workers striking right now. And, there's EMTs out here that kind of look down on it because they see their service as more than, which, yeah, I'm not saying a lot of people can stomach what, EMTs do, but even they should know better because they're looked down on in the medical community.
Hmm.
And the truth is, a lot of people just, are trying to survive, like you said, trying to
Yeah,
get the economy back moving because we got bills to pay,
sure.
unfortunately. And
Time won't stop,
yeah,
and unfortunately, bills and time are they go hand to hand.
mhm. Yeah,
So,
yeah, we
uh,
definitely know that as film photographers.
yeah, oh
Should I
yeah.
should I develop at home or scan these ones?
You know what? It's that's one thing I kind of enjoy is I have the control,
hmm
to develop and create my own way of, my own development, my own times, and I know what I like to do,
Yeah,
and my own scanning and my own, I don't really alter the when I scan. I don't alter. The only thing I spend a lot of time is some of them I do clean up.
hmm
Other than that, it's what comes out. It's what it is. It's what it is.
yeah,
I've seen photographers shoot film and then they alter it in Lightroom,
yeah,
and I just don't understand what's the whole point in that. If film photography, it's what it is. If you want to alter, shoot digital and alter all you want. Why alter something that's already film and you want to change the color? Like if you shot portrait and you're like, oh, I like portrait, but I think it's just too, you know, too, how should I say, too warm,
hmm
and I don't like that. So I want to make it more cooler. If it's a little too cool, why don't you shoot Fujifilm then? Because that Fujifilm's a little more cooler than warmer.
because right now Fujifilm is the enemy.
Yeah, you know what? I hate them. I hate them so much, dude. It's not even funny. A lot of people are like, they'll tell me, "Oh, once you buy the Fuji XT4, and it's the best camera," and I tell them, I give them the middle finger is what I do, and I go, you can take your XT4 and shove it up your ass because There's no way I'm going to support that company.
Yeah.
And matter of fact, I hope that nobody does and they go under, period. Well, they never will because they have a lot of hands on it. I don't give a shit. At least in photography, But I maybe because I don't know. They shouldn't really kill off the whole film department because they're just not making apparently the money that they want.
Well, I actually remember reading this a while back, and I'll probably link this down below. But I don't think they'll go under just because, like you said, they do have their hands on a lot, and apparently they use their technology with film to make makeup products, and they have their hands on a lot of medical equipment as well. Which that's probably true. Why they're doing better than Kodak, is because they diversified as soon as the digital revolution was coming down. But still, I'm kind of annoyed. Oh, sorry.
No, I mean, you're right. They're a very strong company, but when it comes down to like the photography side, I can see the analog going away, and for them keeping the
Instax,
the Instax and the digital, because it does very well for them. Which I'm cool with. I'm happy that the Instax is still around, and people are adapting to that and finding other ways to adapting it to an analog camera and still giving it a shelf life, and still able to create with that. But I guess maybe I'm more bitter because they killed off the peel part. That would
I think that
will never go away.
I think what pisses me off the most about them is that the lack of transparency. And I know that it's kind of taboo to even criticize, or it feels like you're on thin ice in the film community when you criticize any film producer because, hey, what are you doing? We're supposed to be keeping the genre alive.
Yeah.
But I think it's kind of toxic to not talk about how companies like Fuji are keeping us in the dark about what's going on, because they've been discontinuing things left and right. And Acros specifically, I remember you shot it in Pomona. At the time, I didn't realize that I would fall in love with that film as a black and white. Like, that ended up being like my favorite shots from that first roll I shot of Acros. And then a week later, they announced they were discontinuing it, and I was pissed.
It was gone for not very long. I mean, it did come back, but I don't know what changed because I haven't shot it. Yeah, I still have a pack of that original Acros, but I don't think a whole lot has changed. So they noticed that a lot of people really wanted that, and people were buying like crazy. And when they brought it back, and they still the demand was still there, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna keep making Acros," But, like the color film, man, they should have just stuck to certain color film. I think the MPS is still available, which is a great film. I have some of that. I never stopped with the
FP1000. What is it? FP1000, something like that.
Oh, you mean the FP100?
Oh, we're talking about. Sorry, I mixed them up.
It's 120 colored film. It's the MPS, and then there's MPC, which one's a little bit more vibrant, and they killed that one off. And there's so many films that they killed off, like the Natura 1600, best film ever, and they killed.
Yeah, thank you for that brick, by the way. I still haven't shot it.
Oh, that one's dude. That
it feels like gold. I'm like, I feel like I'm killing a unicorn anytime I like take a roll out to shoot.
Don't worry, I have 2 bricks.
Yeah,
and you can't.
And it's funny. You sold me that roll, I think, like 2 months before they announced it was being discontinued.
Wow.
So there's this whole thing about it, just film roll after roll being, or brand after brand.
But you know what? That film, dude, is freaking awesome, dude. I shot it at 800, being that it's a 1600 colored roll, and you shoot it at 800, and it's just amazing, dude.
Yeah,
freaking amazing, dude.
Yeah, I think we've had that talk before, like that we don't. I think you're the only photographer I know that pulls rather than pushes film.
Yeah, I
Is
pull a
what I like
lot.
to do too.
I pull a lot.
Yeah.
I'll take, let's say, I'll take HP5
Mm-hmm.
and I'll shoot it at 80.
Yeah.
And it's almost like the Orwell, so and it makes it a bit contrasty. But it just makes, I don't know, for some reason HP5 is not like, it's not, the greens are not spread out. It's not a grainy film, but yet it's not a fine. It's just right. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and it's very consistent, which I really like about it. Yet it still has that versatility of this range of ISO that you can push and pull, and it's just such a great film all around, no matter what.
Yeah. And I think
Uh,
I like Ilford as a company because I have been wanting to try their FP4, but also
uh,
going back to Fuji because I'm not done trashing them.
if you
Yeah.
if you like
I'm good.
the Team X line,
Mm-hmm.
you'll love FP4.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try it because I've been trying to move away a little bit from Kodak in terms of black and white, just because the prices, like I can't deal with them.
Yeah, they. You know what? I can understand them hyping up the prices, and they even let everybody know that they were going to do that. And it's, they're trying to make things alive, and of course, you utilize that money as well to bring back other films too. They
Yeah.
brought Ektachrome, P32,
Hmm.
and of course, Portra, and most of all the T Maxes are still out there.
Yeah, I
So
appreciate them as a company, but at the same time, I don't know. Like I said, it goes back to the whole. It's kind of taboo to criticize. I
yeah, I
really
mean,
wish they would. Hmm?
it's a give and take, It's a give
Yeah,
and take.
but I really
So
wish they'd work on more products because they seem so focused on film. They forgot that there's this whole community that still want to scan their photos, and there's people willing to pay out up to like 2,000 for a new or an old 20-year-old Pac-On scanner. Like,
yeah,
and apparently, from what I read, they haven't been able to update the software because there's some sort of IP protection. So Kodak
okay,
one hasn't developed any software or allowed people to develop any software for that Pac-On, and also
mm,
they're not, they can make a lot of money just realizing the state that film is in right now, and
yeah,
either one, develop new Pac-On scanners or something similar, or
yeah,
two, you know, try to find the people that know how to work on these things and hire them to, make those repairs in store or in shop.
yeah, yeah. That's true. It's a really good scanner. I wish they
Mhm.
made it at 120,
Yeah. Yeah.
or make both of them. But I got lucky, dude. I found a Epson V750, and I bought it for $200,
Hmm.
and it wasn't working. And being that
Yeah.
that I know how to work on things, I fixed it. It was such a simple fix that this thing cost $800 used, and I got it for $200. All I had to do was fix it.
Hmm.
So, so I have that, and I'm kind of lucky that I got that because I shoot 4x5, and now I'm starting to shoot 8x10. That scanner is capable of doing that. Scanning that size of film. So, and also I'm able to do my like Polaroids and peel parts. It's not even funny, dude.
Yeah.
My wife gave me so much shit, dude, because I spent like about $600 on
Peel
peel part.
apart.
Yeah.
Dang. Have you tried that One Instant company that came out? Because that.
Uh, no, because I hated the fact. Well, it's weird because here I'm willing to spend for you know old stock actual that works,
Hmm.
and opposed to them remaking it. And I think it was $75 for one shot only,
Hmm. Yeah,
and
that was that was right. I remember looking at it too, and
it
I
was
think.
very very steep, man. And I was like, man, I don't know about that. And if I buy it, you only had so much window to shoot it. And I go, I'd rather spend $100 on 10 shots. And I know they're gonna work, being that it's expired, but it's good, you
Hmm.
know. and I was like kind of trying to outweigh it, and I just pretty much bought a lot of that stuff, and I'm sitting on that for special occasions like weddings and uh, special projects, with models and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Posted. I mean, yeah, I would love to support them, but it's kind of hard to buy one, which is $75, and it's just a one shot, and that you know they have to come up with a way where yeah, I'm down to spend $75, but at least give me like 8 shots or something,
One
or
thing that really pissed you off more at Fuji is apparently, even though they discontinued their peel apart films, they won't allow, I think it's either Polaroid or One Instant, to have the formula.
yeah, you know what, that it does, but I think what I'm more happy is that these guys pulled it off for the one shot,
Mm-hmm.
and they were able to use some of that Kodak stuff, because I don't know if you read up on. I think there's only 5 cameras in the world that shoot. There's the largest Polaroid camera, and one of them's in New York.
Mm-hmm.
And they had so much supply of that stuff that they bought the pod, and the pod is it has the chemicals in it to make the Polaroid print. So, and this thing's like, dude, it's huge, dude. You can get like the size of your like the door, a print that size, and it's a Polaroid, which is sick. That's a lot of chems just to make one print. So they were able to get some of that chemical from Kodak, and and they were able to do that one shot thing. But my thing is that they're trying to replicate that, and it costs money to R&D that, research and develop.
Yeah.
And able to come up with a feasible, like, how we're able to reproduce it. We can make a pack film, and it's gonna be about $80. Yeah, but how many shots are we gonna get? You're only limited to 5, and that's kind of expensive, But yeah, and we're trying to keep it alive, but it's just trying to create the demand, and it's starting out pretty high. It's a hard pill to swallow,
Yeah.
and you think twice about, like, I would love to support, but that's a lot of money, to support them.
Yeah.
But I just hoping that somebody, or at least Fujifilm, because they got hit up by the guy that created a possible project, and he went out there personally to Japan and talked to Fuji, and to see if they're willing to let go of the operation, like the machines, and and their list of products to make it. And they wouldn't even like look to his direction at all. Period. They just simply don't care.
Yeah.
They rather let them like destroy the machines. Period. That's what it came down to. So I was like,
Yeah.
that's
It's
why
different.
I hate that. I hate, why aren't you, if you don't want to do it, why won't you just sell it off and say, hey, we'll give you this. If we give you the machines, the products, and all that, and you start making it, then we want like certain amount of percentage, or whatever the case is, out of that, or something, just to keep it alive. But they just completely, they didn't want to hear it. Basically, what it was. So
Yeah. I mean, I know it's taboo to criticize any film company, but I'm not happy with Fuji. I know it's a differences in culture, but
yeah.
still not happy. Oh shoot. I was gonna ask. You know what? Has expired film gone up in price since Kodak's, bump price hike? Price hike?
You know what? One thing comes in mind: Kodak Gold.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the fuck started that shit, but somebody said Kodak Gold was gonna die, and they started buying that shit like fucking crack.
Yeah.
And it drove me crazy, because now I couldn't get it anymore, and
Yeah.
they were driving up the prices. And at one point, I missed out on the Walgreens was letting it go. They weren't selling it on their shelves, and you were able to buy I guess the 3 rolls for like $4, and people were buying those things like if life was gonna end.
Yeah. Well,
And
they weren't too wrong with this pandemic going on now.
yeah,
Honestly,
stupid
yeah.
me for not reading it, huh?
Yeah. No, honestly though, like I think I was one of those people because I had and no, here's the funny thing. I was always a big stan of Kodak Gold because I preferred that over Color Plus. But my issue with
Oh,
it is that it's hard to get it over here in the States. Like I had to
yeah.
buy it elsewhere and have it shipped over. I forget what website I
Wow.
was using. Or actually, no, I take that back. I was having problems finding it at my local stores, and I had to order it from Adorama to come over here.
Oh,
That's what it
okay.
was. Yeah, I just
For
think
me,
more.
you know what? It's funny. I never had a problem getting Color Plus. I think I have about 100 rolls of that stuff right
Mhm.
now, and I'm just sitting on it. I'm wanting them to kind of, I guess, ferment,
Mhm.
meaning I wanted it to get expired
Yeah.
because I shot stuff that's from 1990s, and I don't know if it has to do with the base, the film base of it, where when you develop it, uh, some of it becomes very reddish. You know that? If
I
you notice
haven't
when
noticed it.
okay, so when you develop a roll and you get it back from the lab, it kind of looks very reddish, right?
Mhm.
So this one looks brownish, like chocolate.
Oh, we're talking but the actual film negative. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
which is the
Yeah.
film base of it. So it looks very chocolatey, and that I think does contribute a lot to the skin tone.
Hmm.
Um, and I just like the way how it really really comes out when you develop it. Even though it's expired, it still maintains your skin tone, fairly decent and well. And I just love it, dude. That's why I look for that kind of that year.
Hmm.
But some of the stuff that I have right now, it's still fresh. So I kind of I leave it outside for like maybe a couple weeks, and then I throw it back in the fridge, and then I take it outside, sit and let it thaw out. And I guess it's just a process. I want to see if
Yeah.
I'm able to replicate that.
So you abused
And
your film just to
I do.
up the unpredictableness.
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do.
So wait, have you shot then expired like Polaroid packs or expired
Yes, yes,
E6?
yes, I have. And
Oh.
the Pola, you have to be. Uh, it's a coin toss on that one. Pola has always been a coin toss,
Hmm.
especially for the black and white. Tends to dry out more quicker than the color. The
Hmm.
color tends to kind of hold up its ground a little bit more longer than the black and white. So, but
Yeah.
and the uh, E6 you have to shoot it quick, and the chemicals you can't have it on the shelf for a long time because it just goes bad really fast.
Yeah.
So
I actually have like a brick of I think it's
hmm
Fujichrome 50, and I was super excited to shoot it because like at the beginning when I did that expired film tutorial, I picked it up thinking like, okay, I'm gonna see what results I can get with this, and it was like I was taking pictures of a ghost world because like there was very faint images on there, and no matter what I tried doing with the rolls after that first test roll,
yeah.
the images would not come out. Like it's just not usable at all.
So remember we went to Bombay Beach, right?
Yeah,
And
and I
we
still
were
need to
at
edit that video.
but you know that little house that we were at the end?
Yeah, the one that
And
the snobby like film,
no,
the
not that
snobby
one.
film
The
film
the
students.
other one, the last one.
The last one.
Yeah, it
Oh, the
was
one
like
with the giant hole in the wall. Hole
yes,
in the
that
floor.
one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so that one, I shot 2 rolls of. One of them was, I think both of them were Provia,
Mm.
and I developed it, and that's when I found out that I had my cam sitting for a while, and it didn't develop it correctly. If I would have known that it was sitting there, I didn't pay attention. I would have just developed it as in base straight C41.
Hmm.
and it would have been a C41 roll, and I would have saved some of the shots, So, and I wasn't able to get anything out of it. You can still see images, but like if you want to scan them, it's just so hard to scan through it, you know, because it's just so thick. And that's the only bad part about E6 is that you have to shoot a batch, and then you're gonna got to do that batch right away.
Yeah.
So
the sad thing is I still see people applying the whole one stop, 1 decade rule to it, thinking that it's the same as color film or black and white.
no, it's not. It's E6 is a very sometimes it's a hard film to deal with if you don't know its characteristics. When you're shooting in daylight opposed to shooting in shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Different settings, bro. You can't stick with one middle one. It has to change rapidly if you want that shadow not to be muddy, because it will come out muddy and dark.
Yeah.
If you don't change your settings. So, but other than that, I haven't shot a lot of E6 that much, and I want to actually, because I'm sitting on some Velvia 50, and I think that's just gonna be so. I think I'm gonna save that for more studio stuff.
Do you have do you notice the difference between how since you said you've been shooting expired film for a while, would you say there's a difference between how 120 and 35, like I know there's the same type of emulsion, but is the packaging different? Like does the plastic canister help, fresh, or have you noticed anything like that?
Not really. It's still the same from before.
Okay.
I know the emulsions have changed because there's a difference. And it's not, you know what? I'll take that back. I don't think it's more of the emulsion. I think it's more of the base. Because before the film base was made out of cotton, and now it's based off of something else. I don't know what exactly it is, but some of that base changed because cotton is more expensive, and companies are trying to cut down on that.
Yeah.
So it makes try to make a film more keep it at an affordable rate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Opposed to back then, cotton was abundant, and even though it is still in the day age that we are, the money is, I guess, is hard to come by, and now they're cutting back on a lot of things. So
yeah, I've heard the argument that people shoot expired film not because they're trying to undercut companies like Kodak and Fuji, but because they're trying to save some money, and it's just more feasible to pick up some expired film.
That is one good point. Yeah, it is, but you don't just shoot it just because it's expired and that's all you can afford.
Yeah.
I think people need to start thinking about more, out of the box, opposed because of the dollar value of it.
So for you, it wasn't just about saving a buck.
No.
What got you into shooting expired over fresh film?
Because there were certain looks that I was able to achieve, and I didn't want to go to the, once you scan it and you edit and then you add a filter on top of it. I didn't want to do that. Film's not for that shit. Excuse me if I said that bad word.
No, you're fine. You know how many times I curse on the channel.
But, if that's the whole point, then, once you just shoot pixel, and then you can add all the filters you want. But, film has always been film, and film has its own character, and it has its own two legs to stand on. And, the film, expired film, you don't know what you get in reality. It could be 20-year-old, 30-year-old, but still you get an image. And knowing the fact, okay, so if it's a 30-year-old, what can you create with that? You find ways to think how it would come out in your mind, and then you try to, see if you can create an image that would, resonate to what is it that you're thinking. If you know your film very, very well, you will know how its outcome, it would be. Besides being the inconsistency, because some of it is 20 years old and it's just bad because of the way it was stored. But I've been pretty lucky because I've been very savvy with a lot of film You know, dude, I'm not loyal. I'll tell you that. I'm a whore. I'm
Yeah.
not loyal to none, no brand, no. I don't care. It's film. I'll shoot it because I want to know what it does. You know,
Yeah.
there's guys that shoot portrait and they're just diehard portrait guys, and then there's guys that are Ilford guys, there's Tri-X guys. Me, no. But I could tell you this: Fomapan is one of my go-to. Um, Now it's Orwell,
Mm-hmm.
which is that German made. It's part of almost like Agfa,
Mm-hmm.
and now it's Ferrania because Ferrania is the same emotion like before. So and also Burger. So those are my kind of go-to black and whites. But you know, I started out with Kodak T-Max
Okay.
100. That's the ultimate, like number one for me. Is that's such a underrated and you know
Yeah.
not a prized um, film.
I've
I
shot
think.
that I've shot that fresh as well as a few times expired over a decade, and it's one of my favorites too. I don't know why
Yeah,
people
it's
keep saying it's a
such a great film. I mean,
yeah.
it's fine. It's fine grained, and I think it's more balanced than Tri-X. I mean,
Yeah.
Tri-X has a very wide range of shooting it in any ISO. You can push it, pull it, whatever. You know what? It's funny that T Max does the same thing, but it's just a finer grade.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, same thing. All those films you were talking about though, the burger and everything else, I'm assuming you shot those all expired as well, or were
no, I
those
shot those
fresh?
fresh. Let's see. Burger hasn't. They just started up maybe 5, 6 years ago. Um, but before Burger wasn't so pronounced back then in the 90s. And because I'm trying to remember back what other black and whites were out there. Ferrania was one of them. Agfa was real big back then, and that was you were able to get it. You can walk into like freestyles, and then it's there. You know,
Hmm.
Hanukkah was one of them too. Arista was pretty big back then. You know, the cool part about Arista is that when the Arista was expired for like maybe 4 or 5 months, they would put it in a big jar. And it's like when you're ready to pay, they had it right there. And you could just grab a handful, and they were like a quarter for 120 film. So I would pick up like maybe 3 or 4 or 5 of them and just, oh, I'm just gonna take those just to have.
Yeah.
So but yeah, most of the black and white films are not expired that I shoot majority of the time. I get lucky. Sometimes I do find like old school, 19 like late 90s, early 2000 Ilford, and they still work well. I mean, there was one that I think I got from 1998, and it was FP4, and I pushed it to 800, and it worked,
Yeah.
dude. It
A
just
lot
it
of
works.
experimenting with film for you.
Well, you have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, how you gonna know? If I think um if you're not willing to push it, how are you not gonna know what it does? A lot of people. I noticed that a lot of people is like, well, how did you do it? Well, how about you experiment?
Yeah.
You do your own legwork. Don't let other people do it for you.
Yeah.
You know, you're never gonna know what is it that you'd like and what mistakes you made and what causes it. Maybe that mistake caused for a rendition that you would like completely love. Like wow, I really like this. It's a mistake, but you know what? It's something that I like.
Yeah.
Just got to put the time, in your notes. Write a lot of notes down what you did, and that's one key thing that I can give for the newer generation is back then we wrote down notes. We wrote down everything what we did, and if something happened, we knew what happened, and you can always go back to that.
Yeah. I'm seeing a lot of, or I'm noticing a lot of people both on Instagram and YouTube just basically try to ask questions about how to get the same results without ever wanting to experiment. Like I don't like I see a lot of people love the look of light leaks, but they never, take a chance on just opening up their camera for a second.
No, it's not even hard to do that
Yeah.
too. I mean, once you like, there's some of them they'll pull all of it out, and that's the part where you might want to do it. But there's also some that it just take a picture and it's bunching it up. It
Hmm.
depends on the camera, how you want to do it. So manual cameras, I think it's a little bit more easier because there's certain parts of the roll that you can put light leaks in, and whatnot. So opposed to automatic ones.
Okay. And yeah. Did you
So
by any chance pick up any of the FP 100 before the price hike
I did, but I
last
didn't.
year?
I didn't. It wasn't that much, and now I'm down to one box. And but I have 669, 668. I have about four pull pan, which is the black and white. It's
Hmm.
not the FP 3000. This is the older version of the black and white,
Yeah.
and I think it's ISO 100 for the black and white. And I have a lot of 669, and I have 667, and I have some 4x5 black and white and color, and that I'm sitting on right now. That's Polaroid. It's like ready to go. It's that box. I can easily turn that box around and sell it for 200-300 bucks. You know,
Hmm.
so it's I have two boxes, one color, one black and white. So that's $600.
I'm
Sitting
still
right.
kicking myself because one of my local film places that I get my film developed at, they had a bunch of FP 100 by the door for $25, and I looked at
Wow.
it and I was like, I'll buy it in the next month. And yeah, bad luck Brian sort of way. I ended up finding out about that price hike, and they ended up shooting up to $60 now. So
Yeah. Now it's you can buy the expired stuff for $80
yeah,
a pack.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah, it's ridiculous, but if you still want to shoot it, you already know the price you have to pay to
yeah,
shoot it. You
yeah.
know, so I mean I find bargains here and there, and I'm sitting on that stuff like my wife's like ready to throw it away, knowing the fact that it costs money.
Yeah.
Because I already crossed the boundary. Now it's in the main fridge, and she goes, "That's why you have your fridge and why you have this shit over here." And
You
I'm
don't have
already buying.
a film fridge?
I do, but it's not, dude.
It's
That
not big
thing's
enough.
already it's already pooping all the film out, man. I
Yeah,
got no room in there no more.
I mean I can't really
So
criticize you because that's happening to me already, and I ordered some more Instax wide recently, so it's
that's
definitely not
another
going to fit in
thing
there.
that the insects. But I have the insects mini,
Hmm.
and I mainly bought it for my daughter, and because she loves it. And like I said, my daughter's getting into photography, you know, and I'm kind of glad because being a photographer, it's something that I wanted to pass on to my kid,
Yeah, how
and
old is she again?
my daughter's 12 years old.
Oh, okay, amazing.
So
So does she take photos of you guys or?
she takes more of what she sees and
Mhm.
her friends. And I'm really pushing her now to carry her camera now and just like, hey, you have film in this camera, finish it, take it with you to school and just take pictures of your friends and what you see and what you want to take pictures of, you know,
Mhm.
and just get her in that habit to always carry her camera and, and shoot what she likes or, something you want to do, you know, shoot it. So, and the cool part is that it's an SLR, but it's a shutter priority,
Mhm.
So she gets to shoot, uh, use the f stop, or she can just go full program, which
Yeah.
I kind of like push, like what, just shoot her in a program for now until you learn
Yeah.
the other stuff. So, but she's like, she's happy. She sees my work. She comes, to my room and when I'm editing and I'm scanning and she sees the stuff and she goes, "Oh, I love that picture, Dad." And I go, "Why?" I always ask her why because I want to know why she likes that picture. She goes, "I like a picture that that person is just such a beautiful person, and in
Mhm.
reality, that person's not. like model or anything. It's just the picture's just pretty. And she says it's just the picture looks very beautiful. And I go, wow, okay. For her to have an impression like that,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's really awesome you're doing that. Because
Yeah.
I remember I kind of wanted to do something similar when I was 12, and uh, I don't know. Wow, I want to get a little personal here. Like, growing up in poverty. Growing up in poverty, let's just get personal. Why not?
Yeah, let's
Growing
do
up
it.
in poverty, at least like in a, house cramped in a room with like, four other people, because that's just kind of what you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up like that too, man.
Yeah. I was ashamed of asking for a camera from my dad when I was younger, but that's kind of something I always wanted to do. But I just kind of let that fester in for a good 20 years before I finally, decided to buy my own.
Yeah.
And so,
But
yeah, it's really awesome that you're doing that.
but I started out. What triggered for me was when I was young.
Hmm.
My mom would she had odd jobs here and there, and one of the jobs was she was working at a studio for a friend, and the lady was from Chile,
Hmm.
and she had a studio with her husband, and it was down by MacArthur Park around that time. And she would just drag us to the studio because she had to go work for a couple hours there. And I can still remember, the smell, dude. And you know how, like, you done Polaroids, right?
Yeah.
You remember how it smells?
Um, we're talking about the new Polaroid originals, or talking about
The peel
old school
apart. I know
Polaroid?
you shot peel aparts before.
Yeah, I actually still have. So I do wonder how hard, like, so I know you like portraiture a lot. Do you find it hard to like find models, given that you're I know you've been shooting film for a while, but a lot of the film shooters that I'm seeing on YouTube and Instagram, they tend to be like a lot younger. Like, do you find that to make it harder for you to find models to shoot with?
Uh, yes and no, because I am, wanting to shoot with, I guess, younger models, and especially younger males.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, for some reason the males don't like the fact somebody, hey, I want to take your picture. They kind of get creeped out, like, I guess if somebody was automatically gay, and they're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, well, I think, you have a great look, great structure, and I would love to take pictures. Automatically gay.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks, you're creeping me out.
That's
So I get it pretty more worse on the guy side than on the girls. I think the girl
that's
side, it's a little bit more easier, but the younger ones, like, like the 19, 20-year-olds, it's a little hard sometimes to shoot with
yeah.
them, opposed to like the 24 and up. It's a little bit easier.
Yeah. And it's kind of surprising you say that the male models or male talent is harder to shoot with, because I figured that they would just jump at the chance of anyone trying to take their photo, since I know that they're kind of neglected.
It is challenging because you have to be, you have to scout your own mail,
Mm-hmm.
and only you know what you like and what you're looking for. And I mean, you of course you're not going to find the real. There's a lot of good looking guys out there. You know, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying it because I'm not gay, but
Mm-hmm.
I know when I see a good looking person when you see one. There's a lot of beautiful women, dude, and there is a lot of good looking men out there.
Yeah.
Trying to capture their beauty is challenging.
Yeah.
Because they're more rigid, they're more structure, opposed to a woman is more. Anything about a woman is every angle is nice.
Mm-hmm.
You're able to capture, but for a man, it has to be a certain way, and trying to get them to loosen up is the challenging part. And especially the trust. Guys do not trust nobody. Period.
Mm-hmm.
They don't even trust themselves. and yet alone here you're trying to get them to trust you when you're taking their picture, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot
So
of.
yeah, it's hard sometimes, and I mean, like my go-to model, I told her, hey, I want to shoot your boyfriend. She goes, really? And I go, yeah, he has a really good look. I think if I keep, getting him out to shoot more, he would, you know, learn to trust me, and we're able to create something. And I think I posted him on my page, and I think he does have a pretty good look, for being young, and he is in his 20s, and it's just breaking him out of that shell, getting him to really interact and knowing to be confident, with himself is the challenging part too. And then working with him, but in due time, they do come around, and
Yeah.
it does pay off. So I only shot with him once, but I'm already having plans to shoot with him again once this thing blows over, and trying to get him out there, and shoot him a little bit more portraits and more, different styles and stuff like that.
Yeah, this whole thing's really kind of throw a damper in a lot of portrait photographers' plans.
Yeah. So it's funny because I when I want to try something, I ask my daughter, "Hey, come here, I want to take your picture." Now she's like, "Dude, you've been taking pictures. I'm tired of you taking pictures of me already." I have to like drive her now. And before, man, no problem, dude. The little girl, she was like, "Oh, a picture." She was say cheese. She was standing there, no problem. And now that she's 12, going on 30, dude, forget it, man. It's like I have to I'll give you $20 so you just sit there, dude. And she goes, "Dude, hurry up! I only one, all right." And then I get attitude, it's just like, man, you're horrible, man. I don't know. See how you are, and then here you want to be a photographer, and all I tell her is good luck,
Yeah,
because
she should be more appreciative. You created her just so you could take those photos.
well, actually, I created her so she can get me something when I'm sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
She's dude. That kid is such a character. It's not even.
Yeah.
My wife, dude, she has so much trouble with her because she's just a handful. One person doing a handful for her, and if she has this character, like maybe I'm at fault because of that, because of the character she has. But my wife doesn't have a whole lot of patience,
Mm-hmm.
and so with her, it's like it's pulling teeth all the time. But she's a good kid, though. She's a really good kid.
You said so has she taken any photos that you really like?
She has, and it was with the Polaroid, and sadly, I don't know what the hell she did with that pile. And she had a little stack of pictures, and I've been trying to find them. But I think I did take a picture of that of those pictures, and I have them on my Instagram, so I'll send them to you when I get a chance.
Oh, cool. That's really awesome though that you're getting her into it, or that she's found an interest. And
It's funny. A lot of people ask me, "Oh, can you show me? Can you teach me?" And I was very anti, because like, well, why am I going to teach you? I have patience. I have a lot of patience, but I think I don't have patience for teaching, because when I want, things done a certain way, that's how I want them. I don't, I'm not one of those like, you have the freedom to like, well, if you want to do it that way, you can go ahead. But there's a reason why I'm asking you to do it that way,
Yeah.
So, I get I get a little frustrated when they don't listen, and maybe it's because my daughter was like that too.
Yeah.
So, that's why I don't teach. And, I don't, a lot of people ask me, you should have a YouTube, maybe you should have a class. And we were trying to do that when I was with 35 millimeter magazine. Me and Nick were in the works of putting workshops where you would, people would learn more about film, and he would teach more about the fashion industry because he was a male model. And I would come in and help out in the development and the film types and what film does, and more of the technical aspect. And that's why he allowed me to work with him, because knowing that I knew this knowledge, he was like, oh, we should do something about that. So, and at that time it was him, Nick Sabatello, and myself, and Rogue Photo, which was Ben Smith, was 35 millimeter at that time in the beginning.
How was your time there?
It was pretty cool, man. I got to learn a lot, but I was hoping to gain a possibility to get into a agency, and it didn't work out because I guess he just didn't want to offer me that invitation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I totally understood. I mean, it is what it is. Nobody wants to give up some of their resources for just because, but I was willing to work for it, and whatever the case was. And Ben, which is Rogue Photo, he wanted to help me out too and get me into an agency as well. And but it didn't work out time wise, and we both worked, and now he's full time with agencies, and also with commercial companies or agencies. Yeah. And he just doesn't have no time no more.
Have you shot with agency models though, or is it?
I have shot. I've shot with them before, and they're fun to work with. It's very easy to work with, with models like that. And I wish I had more opportunities. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
But I just never got the chance to.
What would be the process for, let's take it back. What's the difference between like a model that's an influencer and one who's worked for an agency? Like, do you notice any like differences in the portraits you get out of them or the shoot itself?
Okay. Well, I think the misconception is agency models have to look a certain way in order to be considered and be represented by an agency. Like the influencers are more of a lifestyle model, more of an alternative, because their bodies are more configured differently opposed to an agency model. Agency model has to be a certain weight and body structure. Influencers are more of attention. More has to do with attention and more of an eyesore, in other words.
Yeah.
So, there is a big difference, but when it comes down to modeling, by far there's a lot of difference, big time. Yeah. The ones who are more in the agency, like professionally, and they have more experience consecutively, bring a lot to the table. When it comes down to shooting, like really nitty gritty, dude, they get down.
Yeah.
They bring a lot, and you better catch that when they bring that stuff, and you're able to capture all that stuff. The influencers are more, I don't know. It's like their bodies sell a lot for some reason.
I mean, I've only maybe shot with 2 agencies models, so I kind of know what you're talking about because it was when I was doing a workshop in LA with these 2 photographers that run portrait games, and there was these 2 agency models, and the world of difference in how the shoot went with an agency model is amazing because you just tell them what you're going for, what mood you're trying to catch, and they just immediately
they know.
They immediately get it. Whereas with influencers or someone who's just starting out, you kind of have to direct them, which is what I do a lot, and I struggle with because I have that trouble communicating what I want sometimes.
Yeah.
So it was amazing shooting with the agency models and then just like picking it up. Whereas with, God, I'm going to probably catch some crap for this, but a lot of the Instagrammers that I've shot with, they tend to just lean towards like what they consider sexy. which I understand because that gets the clicks, but at the same time, it feels really cheap, and I try to always steer away from that.
Yeah, and it's funny because I like both worlds, no matter what. I like both of them,
Hmm.
and yeah, who wouldn't want to shoot with model agencies, But I also like the fact, and I like to maybe because I have the experience. The ones that have no experience, it's easier for me to work with them because you can mold them to how you want them. And if they're very receptive, majority of them are very receptive to what you want from them.
Hmm.
And of course, some of them are just like, oh, you don't have to tell me, I already know what to do. And those are the ones that are sexy, and that's all they have is want to bring is sexy.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't want that. We already know you have a body. There's no need for you to pronounce it more. You know, we're not here about that. I'm here for this theme that I'm looking for, and this is what I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where you got to be, keen on selecting your your models and what is it that you're looking for. You know.
Hmm. Yeah. It's funny because I remember shooting some models before. I don't think they're represented by agencies, but they definitely charge a lot now by the hour.
Yeah.
It's more than I can afford, and it sucks because I'm like, damn, I remember when I could just hit you up for a shoot with a concept, and like I wouldn't have to, like, I'm happy for them, get your money, but it sucks because I don't have the budget for it
Right.
most of the time.
And it's funny, one girl that I hit up, she was a looker,
Hmm.
and I was like, oh, she'd be great for this kind of work that I want to do. So I hit her up, and she goes, oh, my rates is $300, and I'm down to shoot with you. But she was kind of young, she looked like she was like 19,
Hmm.
and I was like, okay, so you want $300 and the minimum of 2 hours. And she said, yeah, that's just to start off. And I go, okay. So, that's great. So, I am looking for nudity. And she goes, oh, I don't do nudity. And I go, so you're charging me $300 and no nudity. And she goes, yeah, for only 2 hours. And I go, wow, I might as well just hire one of the girls from art class, that they get paid $300 for 4 hours and they do nudity, you know.
Hmm.
And here, this girl wants to charge $300, no nudity, and no implied. And I go, what's wrong with this picture? She has no experience in modeling whatsoever, and yet she wants to charge $300. You know what I mean? It's not
Hmm.
so much about the nudity. I could care less about that, and I'm not even going for that. But here we got young girls that want to charge $300 with no experience whatsoever, or maybe because they feel that they shot with four or five uh, meetup photographers that they have experience now. You know, but
Hmm.
in reality, I don't think they have the sufficient experience in order for them to charge $300. Yeah, I understand time is time, and every time is valuable. I'm not against that, but I am against that you're charging when you have in reality no experience whatsoever, and what can you bring for $300? That means $300. You should be able to uh, offer some sort of a diversity style, that you're willing to do for $300, you know.
Hmm.
But here you're only restricting, and then you want to charge for so much. It's just I'm not down with that.
Yeah.
That's one thing that I have trouble with.
So
Some of the young girls that feel that they need to get charged a whole lot of money, and not bring anything in return.
yeah. So how do you find your models then?
It's weird because I look for models that they model. I look at
Hmm.
their Instagram pages, mainly through Instagram, uh, and I just scout and explore and look at different cities, and sometimes I do hit up like certain photographers out there that shot and look at their talent and look, and then go from there and look at the girls through there, and I see their work, and you can see some modeled, some haven't, and it doesn't matter to me if you have no experience. It's okay. I'm willing to work if you're willing to, to be receptive and and you're down for it. I'm willing to do it. So I kind of like the ones with no experience because, like I said, it's easier and you can, off the back, there's a mutual respect, like, and you just tell them straight up, I'm here to respect you and respect your space, and this is what I'm looking for, and you tell them straight up if you have a friend or somebody, to help you with your wardrobe, with anything, I condone it. I definitely want somebody to come, here, be with you, so you don't have to feel like you're here by yourself with somebody you don't know and feel threatened, or something might be intimate, and and you're
Yeah.
expecting something bad to happen, which I you know I hate that. A lot of guys kill it, dude, for me. A lot of guys kill it for me, big time. It's hard. It does make it a little challenging because of that. Because just that one thing, when guys start being creeps and they think that now they have a right to like touch the model, and and then that's an invitation for them to like, hey,
Yeah.
just want to have sex with you instead of taking pictures.
Yeah. I
It's
mean,
fucking bullshit.
it's yeah, it's fucked up. I've actually heard, and that's kind of why I drifted away from the meetup stuff so much because not so much in Orange County, at least from what I've heard, but I know some of the LA meetups, um, they've had incidents happen, and I've been to like one meet where I saw like a photographer grope a model with like 10 other photographers there on the spot. Nobody said anything, but the model stormed off because it was very slight to the point where like only she and the photographer noticed it. But I just caught it out of the corner of my eye and I didn't realize it happened until she just walked off.
Wow.
And yeah, so, and that's just one story because there's like um, call out videos apart
But it
from the
has, you know
more
what?
obvious.
It has to be addressed.
Yeah.
Whether you're a male or a female, it doesn't matter. Respect is respect.
Hmm.
Photography does not mean, hey, let's have sex. Oh, hey, let me see your naked body. Or photography doesn't mean let me see your chest and
Yeah.
let me take a picture. No, it does not mean that. I don't know whoever told them that shit, that that's what photography entails. But dead wrong.
Yeah, it sucks because I don't know. I think it might have been Josie. You shot her too, but there was like a model that I shot that she's she's told me flat she's always down to shoot with me because I don't do that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And you're like, oh, well, you don't try to grab my ass or anything. And I'm like, is the standard for photographers really that low that you're willing to
Wow.
shoot with someone again because they're not trying to like grope you or something?
Yeah, and you see now it's it that's one thing that I do advocate. When I find my model, I introduce myself first. I tell them
Hmm.
my name. My name is so and so,
Hmm.
and I would love to collaborate with you. And most of the girls, it's funny because even though I get turned down, they say thank you for letting me know who you are and your name, because I get a lot of photographers that say, hey, let's work, let's do this and that, and they don't even say who they are. Right away, they're very like cocky, and hey, automatically they just want to do nudity and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
or send me nudes so I can see what I'm working with. What the fuck, No,
Hmm.
I tell them straight up, my name is so and so, and I would love to collaborate with you in this photo session or a portrait session. And they'll
Yeah.
hit me out and say like, oh, I like your work. What is it that you have in mind? Right away, I send them Pinterest pictures. Like I said, I do portraits and I do fashion. And here's some of the stuff that I have in mind. And not saying it has to be like this, but here's an inspiration and something along the lines that we can do. And some say yes, and some say no. And majority, I would say I have an acceptance factor of about maybe 75% that
Hmm.
you know that it works for me. So because I was straight up with them like that. And when they do accept and we do meet up to shoot, right away, I tell them, you know, if you need a picture of my ID, here's my ID. You know, to make you feel comfortable, I highly suggest you do bring somebody with you to help you with wardrobe or anything that you need. I respect your space. I respect you as a person. You know, if I need something moved, you can do it yourself. If you're okay with me just moving a certain thing, then I would ask first if I can do it, you know. Or what comes in play better for me that works out is when you bring somebody, and that helps me out better because I could just show them the picture if I'm shooting digital. Hey, can you fix this for me? And because you have a trust in that person, you know, and it works out a whole lot better,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I tell them straight up, in any way, any form or shape, you feel that I'm passing that boundary, just say we're stopping, and I'll take you back to wherever you need to go, and we can stop from there on. But all of them that I shot so far, they said you've been very professional, very respectful. You don't treat me like I'm some type of uh, an opportunity for you to advance yourself or anything like that. And your pictures are the way that you say. You know,
Yeah.
you have to. You know, I have to go through those hoops nowadays in order for me to shoot with somebody because of shit like other so-called photographers
Yeah.
don't follow a very sanctioned rule for models.
Mm-hmm. And it's really sad because you think about how many of them approached
Yeah,
models that don't even do it professionally, and were introduced to photography by some asshole that just
but
try to
it's
grab them.
just I go through those hoops, but I'm willing to go through it because at least those girls you can say, hey, you shot with this guy, how was he? Or
Yeah.
this male this model knows the other model. Hey, you shot with him, how was he when you shot with him? She can easily say, oh, that guy is straight up awesome, very respectful, funny. um, he actually took me to lunch, after the photo shoot. I always take him to go eat. I go, hey, you know what, I'm hungry. If you're all right with that, you want to come bring your friend? You're all right, we go eat something. If I offer all the time water or something to eat, or you want to go somewhere to eat, and I get to know them, and they get to know me, and in the end, I want them to say something. Like if they ever hear my name, they're like, he's professional, very respectful. I definitely will fit with him. That's what I want to hear. You know, but it's just hard. When you have people like they don't give a shit because they have a personal agenda to sleep with all these girls or whatever the case is. Cheap
Yeah.
thrills, whatever I don't know, but it
No, yeah,
fucks
I
it up
gotcha.
for me. I
So
have to
it's
tell you that.
frustrating. It's super
But that
frustrating.
is my process of finding models is by through Instagram, and of course I DM them or I email them, and I tell them a little bit about myself, and I always tell them I'm a married man and I have a kid, and you know I really I'm very transparent. I have to be because this bullshit that keeps going on where guys want to take advantage of the situation, which they no need to be a photographer for that shit. You could just be an asshole straight up. You know,
Yeah.
you don't have to take an art for that. We come across that shit all the time with professionals and unprofessionals.
Yeah.
So
It sucks, especially because when we don't have that reputation or that portfolio, we have like an uphill battle because you really don't have images to fall back on to show that you're not a creep. But
yeah,
I mean, that's the reality because we don't call out um, people when they do that. Well, the funny thing is, people keep saying it's talked about to death, but the reality is like no one's still talking about it because the whole ID card thing.
yeah,
I remember one of Brie, when she would go shoot with a photographer that she didn't know, she would take a picture of their ID and send it to me and tell me where the photo shoot was going on. So even if I wasn't there, I would know, hey, if something happens to Brie, then she was with this guy at this time, da da. So at least there would be a paper trail, and it's sad
yeah.
that people have to plan out that way, but that's just kind of the reality.
Yeah.
Because it's actually, and this gets into a whole other topic, but I mean, I'm pretty sure you heard of how fucking wild sex traffickers can be, right?
Oh yeah.
Where they'll hit up a model and they'll seem like a professional photographer, but as soon as like the model shows up, they'll just abduct them.
Oh yeah.
I think that there was one case that I remember, and I don't want to make it seem like it's an epidemic that's happening, but there was one case I remember where a professional model showed up to a shoot thinking she was going to get paid. They abducted her, and the only reason she was released to tell her story was because one of the guys that abducted her saw on her Instagram she had a picture of her with her kid, and
Oh
he was like, I don't feel right abducting like a mother sort of thing.
yeah.
So like it's scary, especially when like models are just starting out. But I'm more so annoyed at photographers that get all pissy about models asking for to bring just one more person on set.
That's
Sort of
totally
thing.
fine. I'm
Yeah.
totally cool that even two people are there.
Mhm.
As long as they're
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like
they respect my space and they let me do what I got to do.
yeah. Like it does hinder the photos at some point, but once you get those first few sessions out of the way, most of the time they'll stop bringing an extra person because then they don't have to
Yeah.
focus on keeping them entertained or
Like
you yeah.
my go to model. Uh, Sometimes she don't drive.
Hmm.
I go pick her up at her house, dude. I know where she lives. I go pick her up. I drop her off. The girl that I took
Yeah.
to Bombay Beach. She's
Yeah.
mainly my go-to model, and she'll tell me like, "Hey, I'm hungry." Uh, I buy her food or whatever the case is. Like, because she's my friend. She's
Hmm.
not just my model, but she's my friend. And I treat her as my friend, not as like
Yeah.
something that I'm like, cool. I have an opportunity, and no, she's my go-to model. She gives up time for me to experiment or shoot whatever I want with her. And we get to hang out, and even though there's an age difference, but still I respect her for that. you know
Yeah, I
uh,
got I got the same sort of relationships with some of the models, and we end up honestly sometimes when the shoot doesn't go the way we planned, we're like, hey, at least we hung out, caught up on life advice, life, you know.
yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely nice to have that. Now you're making me miss like hiking and going out to eat and stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't
I
get me
know I
wrong.
know I told you I was getting in and out yesterday, but like
Yeah.
that was closed. I think I was
Wow.
like the last one to find out that they've been closed for a while or something.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
yeah, it couldn't
Yeah,
get
I
me.
can't go anywhere, man, and I can't shoot, anybody right now because everybody's on lockdown. But
Hmm.
I'm just being very patient and trying to figure out a plan to, like, I'm lining up the girls right now. Like, I hit up a lot of girls,
Yeah.
uh, and they're like, yeah, when this blows over, I do definitely want to shoot. Like, I have another good friend, dude. She's in San Diego. She goes, oh, I miss you.
Hmm.
When you come and see me? He goes, I want to shoot with you. And I go, well, when this is all over, I'll come see you. And she's in San Diego. She
Yeah.
goes, I've been trying to, go down there and see her and hang out with her and, and take pictures.
Yeah.
But just, hasn't arisen. And
We
then,
should we should actually do that because I know we talked about going down there to like team shoot
yeah.
and I think you were talking about going to like some abandoned like trail like train.
Yeah, I still want to go to that train because
Yeah, we still need to do
we're
that.
gonna.
We still need to do that. And actually, like I got an update for you. So remember how I told you like one of the models is well, actually, Brie. You know how she charges now, and
Yeah.
kind of pricey. She apparently gets hit up a lot for that Polaroid review video that we did,
Oh, okay, cool.
and she she admitted to me that she never watched it until yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah. So she watched it yesterday and she was like, "Holy shit, this is actually really good. Can you like just keep me in mind? I volunteer to model next time you're reviewing something like this."
All
And
right
I'm
on.
like,
Okay.
Like, and I get it because you want to make money and you want to get your name out there. So
Yeah.
I'm not at all offended that like that's going to be the only time that I would probably get to shoot with her because she's one of my favorite models and I don't have to work with her um for the poses because she just automatically
She
just
gets into it.
goes
Yeah.
for yeah. So right now that's the closest to an agency model that I have right now because
Very nice.
yeah, like I got really lucky with finding her or her finding me.
I have another one that she's young, but I started with her when she was 17,
Mm-hmm.
and she was, dude. She's just beautiful, dude. Beautiful young girl.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's in her 20s. Actually, she's 19. No, she's 20 now,
Mm-hmm.
and going to college. And she's just, dude. When I shot with her that first time, her mom was there, and
Mm-hmm.
her mom is a PO.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's a PO, right?
Are you talking about a police officer or a Leo? Because
Uh, PO
it's
is a
the same
parole
thing. Yeah.
officer.
Uh-huh.
So that lady's always carrying, you know.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to fuck with that lady, right?
Yeah.
Because she has a gun on her all the time. But man, one of the sweetest persons I can ever meet. Her mom and her, and they just completely, when they saw the set that I shot with them, they couldn't believe it. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
"How is it that you're able to capture this?" And these other photographers, they weren't able to do that. And I go, I don't know what to tell you. What I see is what I capture,
Mm-hmm.
and what I saw in you is this is what I saw, you know. She goes, and the weird part about it is that set that she showed around got her into um, got her places like runway shows that paid her money, got her into doing commercial work like wedding dresses, other fashion stuff, and they paid her money.
Mm-hmm.
And she was getting like booked all the time. And I go, hey, cool, how did this happen? She goes, because of your pictures is what happened. Because they saw your pictures is how I got noticed by all these people. And she's actually, if I'm correct, she's the ambassador for El Menudo.
Mm-hmm.
It has that lady, that lady in the Menudo cam.
Yeah, I actually know.
Yeah,
Uh,
she's the ambassador for El Menudo.
wait, so she's like taking Instagram photos with Manolo cans behind her, like some Andy Warhol photo or something?
I think that might be her.
I don't know if that picture actually exists, but I'm wondering if that's what being an ambassador of Menudo entails.
I don't know, but she does events for them.
Yeah, that's
She
awesome, dude.
she's done. She did a grand opening for them because they just moved,
Mm-hmm.
and they named I guess they they done what do you call the new place? They moved to a new place in the street. I guess they named it to them, and so yeah, dude, it's just
That's awesome, though.
she's just she's doing great for
Yeah,
herself.
yeah. I
And
tend to stay away from minors though because
oh, well, she's
because
not.
yeah,
Well,
it's
you know
just
what? I
yeah.
have experience with minors.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not afraid of it because the first thing I would do is not talk to the minor.
Yeah.
Is talk
No,
to
yeah.
the parents.
Yeah. I'll tell you my story though. Like it's only been one experience, but I was with my ex-girlfriend or my girlfriend at the time,
Yeah.
and we had the model and her mom there, and we were shooting inside one of these stores that my girlfriend worked at the time, and it was all cool. And there was like a back alley that I wanted some more like urban shots at, and it was like broad daylight, so it wasn't anything sketchy. It was like well trafficked. It was downtown Fullerton area, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, I want to get like a good rooftop shot sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, can you ask your mom like can she come with us or does she want to just stay here? Like we're just gonna be like literally in the back. And she said, yeah, okay, she'll know. But then she walked over and then came back, and she didn't tell her mom. like at all. So what happened was me and my girlfriend were up on the second story taking some photos, and then all of a sudden we just hear screaming from the downstairs, and we're like, what the hell? And it ends up being her mom, thinking that we like abducted her.
What?
Yeah.
That you abducted her?
Yeah, and we were just like mid shoot, and it got really awkward after that because like, you know, we were trying to be like really careful because this girl was like 17, like she was like 2 months shy of being 18, but still I didn't feel comfortable, so I told her like, hey, if you want to shoot, then have your mom there, and she did, and we, like I said, took her to my girlfriend's workplace, so she knew she was at a job, and we weren't trying to be sneaky about it or anything.
Yeah.
And so me wanting like those kind of like alleyway parking structure shots,
yeah,
ended up like triggering alarm flags for her. So after that happened, the shoot just kind of went downhill. Like we still shot a few frames, but I was just okay. I got everything I needed afterwards, and yeah, it was just not a good experience.
I did shoot another girl. She was 16.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, she's on my Instagram page. She would probably be the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the third row. The third row, the first picture.
Mm-hmm.
It's a black and white, and she was 16 then, and the mom, but the mom was pretty cool. She let me go with her, but you know, I wasn't gonna do nothing like. Dude, first of all, I was downtown in the public, you know, and what am I going to do by doing something to a young girl, except for ruin my life?
There's a lot of sick people out there, though, but yeah, I get what you're saying. It sucks that like I know where you're coming from, because like at the same time, when I'm shooting, I don't ever tend to find models that are like in their like mid-20s to like closer to my age that are still doing it within my budget. Like if they're doing it, that like I can't afford them. It has to be like someone younger who's just starting out or really likes my style, and those tend to be like anywhere from 19 to 24. So like I can see why yeah, you would shoot with younger people, but for me it's like always annoying because I would like to shoot like some older folks. Yeah. But just getting my grandparents to shoot is too much for them.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely want to do the older, the elders.
Mm-hmm.
But some elders, they just don't want pictures taken, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But other than that, I mean, that's it.
Yeah. All right. So to close out this video, to close out the video, this is something new. So hope you guys liked it. I
always like your videos, dude. Honestly, I always do. I always look forward to them. I'll get the other pictures going for you for that Bombay, so you can at least do that one as well too.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything you want to say to the audience? Because I'll close it out. Close it out too, if anything, before.
Yeah, keep shooting, man. Don't stop, guys. Don't let nothing stop you, and respect. And keep chasing light, man. Keep learning the light, and
it's been a while since I said that, but yeah. All right, thank you all for listening. I know this is something new, but it is something we want to try out, and we just so happen to do it because of the quarantine. And if you guys like it, let us know down below. This first time trying this, so apologies if it was a bit shaky. And as Jose said, keep chasing that light.
All right, guys.
All right.